sports fans, and welcome to Inside Bear Athletics on Bear TV. Tonight, we get the mid-season preview from the head coach of the baseball team, Coach Ken Jackson, and there's some new faces on the football staff. We're going to visit with Coach Collins and his new staff members as well, right here on a Tuesday night with Inside Bear Athletics on Bear TV.
Inside Southwest Bear Athletics is your home for all things sports related at Southwest Mississippi Community College. Benji Embry is the voice of Southwest Bear Athletics and a seasoned sports broadcaster in Southwest Mississippi. You can hear him on game day broadcasting nearly all of our athletic events. Join us weekly on Tuesdays to catch up on the discussions. You can hear us live on Bear TV, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also download the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and Amazon Music. So if you have questions or you just want to keep up with teams and stats, you have come to the right place. Inside Bear Athletics.
Well, welcome back to Inside Bear Athletics here on Bear TV on this Tuesday night as we visit with the head coach of baseball, Coach Ken Jackson, joining us first. Coach, welcome to the program.
Nice to be here, Benji. Always good to sit down and talk to you.
Well, Coach, let's talk for just a few minutes here. We're almost to the mid-season point of baseball. You've had some disruptions to your schedule, some makeups here and there, but overall, how do you feel the team's playing right now?
You know, Benji, I think the disruptions has really caused a large problem for us. Baseball is a game of kind of getting into a routine, and we can't find a routine. Between the COVID, the ice storm, and the rain, it just has kind of been a very disruptive season. But I think the kids are playing hard. We've played well as of recent, and that's all I can ask of them is to play as hard as they can. Schedule's tough, we know that, but I think we're doing well.
We talked about your schedule and all the delays you've had in it. One of the things baseball has to worry about is pitching, and of course pitching is always important, but when you start missing all these games, stacking them towards the back of your schedule, how do you feel about going forward with the condition of the arms at Southwest?
That's tough. Not only do we have some games stacked up on us, but we've got some injuries that's kind of piling up on us a little bit on the pitching staff, and just had a surgery done last Thursday of a kid, Jonko Giordano, that had a nerve moved in his elbow, kind of relocated because it was causing some damage and pain. And luckily, really, it was an injury that was old. But we got some sore arms, we got some tendonitis in some arms, and that's typical of baseball. It's nothing that's not typical, but it does cause problems when you start stacking the games up, and you're having to play 16 innings every time you walk on the field, and all of a sudden you end up getting 2 and 3 dates a week, and that 16 becomes 32, becomes 48, and it's tough, So, but the pitchers are doing well, and hopefully we can get all our games in.
Before we stop talking about pitchers right quick, this past Saturday, Braxton Cooksey got to the mound for his first start on the year. It was very impressive with 13 strikeouts.
Yes, we've been talking about starting Braxton on the mound, but because he's also our second baseman, we kind of have to play with that a little bit, and don't want to put us in too bad of a situation. But we felt like it was just time to get him on the mound, and felt like we needed a little shot in the arm, and I thought Braxton pitched extremely well against Holmes on Saturday.
When you look at the other side of the coin, from pitching to hitting, in the games I've noticed, Southwest has been kind of streaky when it comes to hitting lately.
We're very streaky, and ain't no kind of to it. We're very streaky. We'll come in and score 4, 5, 6 runs in an inning, and then go 2 or 3 innings and not score. Now, in defense of that, also I thought Saturday in game 2, where it was actually a 1-0 ball game, I thought we hit the ball probably as well as we've hit in a while, even though we only got 3 hits. But there's nothing you can do about it when you hit the ball right on the nose and it goes right to the left fielder or center fielder or right to the third baseman as hard as you can. That's the crazy thing about the game of baseball. You can do everything exactly right, exactly the way it's supposed to be done, and you're unsuccessful. And that's where it plays mind games with kids and players. But I thought we swung the bats pretty well.
Let's talk about the morale of the kids now. Everybody sees the record, and we're not going to talk about the record because the record really is not important. You look more at the division schedule as far as your record is concerned. But the kids see that record. Do they stay motivated throughout the season knowing that record, or when you lose a tough one at the first, how's the second game? How do you kind of keep the morale going on this team?
It's tough. You got to take every game, one game at a time. We say it all the time, one game at a time, one inning at a time, one pitch at a time, and you just got to battle. You're a college athlete. You're a player that deals with adversity, and winning and losing is adversity, and you got to deal with it. Also, they also realize what we're facing. Our first 18 games that we played this year, 16 of them are against ranked teams in the country, top 20 teams in the country, and that's tough. In a normal situation, a normal year, we're playing those teams out of the north that we feel like we can match up with because of early season. We're getting a lot of confidence about ourselves. We're kind of finding our places and ourselves and what we can do, what we can't do. And all of a sudden, you've played 16, 17, 18 ball games, and you got a 11-5 record, 12-6 record, something like that, and you feel good about yourself. Well, we open up the season, against the number 4 team in the country, the number 6 team in the country, number 8 team in the country, number 12 team in the country, and then we finally finish up with the number 20 team in the country. So it is what it is. I try not to dwell on that a whole lot. I do dwell on it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say I don't, but it is something you just got to deal with and know who you compete against every week, and I think it makes our kids better. The biggest thing for our players, our job is to move them on to the 4-year level. And if they put up the numbers, wins and losses take care of themselves. If they put up their own numbers, they're going to move on to the next level because those 4-year schools know who we're playing against.
And they see the averages.
And they see the averages and where they're at. And if this kid is batting .345 against top-ranked pitching in the country, he can hit.
Let's talk about as far as talking to the team goes. Is it harder to talk to the team after like a 10-9 loss or a 14-1 loss?
It's just
to get them ready for game 2.
It's just a different conversation. That's what it is. I think you try to learn something every time you go on the field. Every time every at bat, every play, every game, you try to take something out of it and make yourself better as a baseball player, as a person. And I think you take both those games, and there's a lot of things we do really well in a 14-1 ball game. We get beat. There's a lot of things we do well. And we just, I was watching the game yesterday, the Ole Miss game, and they had a 14-0 lead going to the top of the 8th inning, and Auburn put up a 9 spot on them. And that's probably the number 3 team in the country. And Bianco said, it happens. Baseball, it's the clock. You don't have the chance for that clock to run out. You got to get those outs, and things happen, and base hits happen, and whatever happens during a ball game, you try to take both scenarios and learn something from it.
I heard a coach say one time, "Hey, just because they sent 12 to the plate, don't mean we can't send 12
Absolutely.
to the plate."
And that happens. We batted around several times this year, and other teams batted around too. It's JUCO baseball, and strange things happen in JUCO baseball, but in baseball in general.
Well, Coach, we would normally be talking about what's coming up next for you, but I want to kind of leave that open-ended because as this airs here on this Tuesday night, you're scheduled to play Meridian tomorrow night here at home. Of course, Mother Nature, once again, one of the many factors you have to deal with as a baseball coach is Mother Nature. So kind of looking ahead, you got Meridian, you got East Mississippi, you got Itawamba sitting down there. Kind of tell us about the upcoming opponents for the Bears.
Okay, tomorrow we got Meridian, another top 10 team in the country. Then we got Itawamba at Itawamba on Saturday, another top 10 team in the country. And then if either one of those games, and we're kind of assuming right now that the Meridian game is going to get washed because there's a 80% chance of rain tomorrow, a 90% chance of rain on Wednesday, and a 90% chance of rain on Thursday. And so that's going to be moved next week probably. Next week is our open week, our COVID week. That's if we had any COVID cancellations, it's supposed to be made up next week. Well, nobody had any COVID cancellations, so we're going to use those to make up some games. So it kind of keeps a normal schedule of a Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Saturday type situation. And then with the East Mississippi debacle that we had last week with the field conditions and being over there and making a 3.5-hour drive, we have tentatively set that up for Tuesday. Now, where we're going to play, nobody knows yet. We don't know where we're going to play. It was going to be Jackson here, or if the game's even going to be played. You know, that's kind of left up to higher being. You know, the presidents and the ADs are all dealing with that. The baseball coaches
let them powwow over that situation.
Let them deal with it because, you know, it was a very unfortunate situation there with the field conditions, but we were there to play ball, and you know, we'd spent a lot of money, and you know, I don't think the school should be forced to spend that money again.
First time I've ever gotten a text message from somebody saying there's a tractor on the field with a water bubble and we're probably not going to play. We were doing softball that day here on the Southwest campus. And that's one of those things where you almost want to call Coach Jackson and say, okay, give me some details on this, because that was one of the weirdest things I think I've ever heard of as far as a baseball game went.
The only thing I can say is that's JUCO baseball at its best. I've only had that happen one time. It happened to us. I was coaching football at Park Lane, and a water ball popped up on the field on a Friday morning when we got there, and luckily we were able to go out there and get the water off and kind of get it settled before 7 o'clock that night. But we had almost 12 hours to get it done, you know, so it happens. And really and truly, it happens so quickly you don't foresee it happening.
Yeah. Well, Coach, on a more personal note, as we get ready to kind of wrap things down here, the split with Holmes gave you 99 victories as head coach of the Southwest Bears, so you're one away from the milestone. Coach Shea Johnson reached that milestone himself earlier this season, 100 wins as head coach of the Bears. Again, I know it's not all about wins and losses, but you got to feel good knowing that triple digits is in the foreseeable future.
Absolutely. I've been fortunate to have a lot of good people to coach and a lot of good people to work under and work under me. And, you know, all those victories are not mine. You know, they're all the assistant coaches and the players, you know, and I've just been fortunate to be in the right place with a lot of good people.
Right place at the right time.
At the right time.
With the right pitching and the right third basemen.
Absolutely. You know, strange things happen. The way the game ended that night, you know, it was just a bang, bang play at the first. And, you know, it was kind of a lot of disruption going on over there. And that's crazy how things like that happen, you know. But that's baseball. But, again, I feel very fortunate to be able to put that, you know, number, I guess, beside my name. But, you know, it's just it's about the players, and I've always said that my measure of success is where the kids are in 10, 15 years down the road. It has nothing to do with wins and losses while they're here. It's how I'm an influence on them in the years to come, and them being great husbands and fathers and leaders in the community and things like that.
Final question, Coach, you talk about that. How great is it that you look back and say you turn on the TV and you see one of your players either playing baseball or running for office or doing something great? I know that's got to be great for you. How does that feel?
That's probably, you know, my wife hates to go to Walmart with me because I've run into a lot of players. You know, I've been doing this 38 years. You know, it's you run into a lot of players, and I like to catch up with them, and that to me is the fun part of Facebook. You know, is keeping up with your players. You know, I don't get into all the political stuff and all that kind of stuff, but keeping up with my players and seeing how their families are doing and just seeing where they're at. And that's the measure of success for me.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Ken Jackson, thanks for spending some time with us. 99 wins in county. You got a lot of games still to play on the schedule here in this 2021 campaign. We're hoping that we get some baseball later this week, but if we don't, we look forward to some baseball next week.
We just move it on to the next man up, next game.
Next man up, and hopefully he still remembers how to get the field ready for a game, because I've been a lot over at Bear Park this season.
It is not, but luckily at the end of the season we got, I think, 8 straight games at the end of the season now. You know, so somebody's
going to learn how to use the lawnmower.
Absolutely.
Coach, thanks for joining us. That's our mid-season look at baseball. Coming up next, we're going to shift gears and go to football on Inside Bear Athletics with Bear TV. Hey, Bear fans, in this COVID year, don't forget Southwest Mississippi Community College has the following attendance policy for home games. The home team will get 40 tickets for every basketball game. Visiting teams will be allowed 15. There will be 30 tickets available for Southwest students, and those will be on a first-come, first-served basis. You can pick up those student tickets at the Sports Information Office on the Southwest campus. There's also 20 tickets available for the general public. Those will be sold at the campus bookstore at a cost of $10 a piece. The Southwest Cheer Squad, they get 10 tickets, and there's no pep band or halftime performances at home basketball games this year. MACCC, MHSAA, MAIS, and Southwest passes will be accepted at the door. Anyone attending the games will of course be asked to wear a mask and to try to maintain 6-foot distance between groups. By the way, the teams will also be seated on the south side of the gymnasium. All fans will be seated on the north side at the Southwest Basketball Center. Another difference this season is the mirrored schedule. That means when the Bears are at home, the Lady Bears are on the road against the same team. All home games this year, with the exception of February 27th and March 6th, will tip off at 6 p.m. in the Southwest Basketball Center.
Let's get to it. It's time to get back to Inside Bear Athletics.
Well, welcome back to Inside Bear Athletics here on Bear TV. Our thanks to Coach Ken Jackson giving us our mid-season look at baseball. Now, we had this man on earlier in the semester, but he couldn't tell us a whole lot about the program because he had just gotten the program. That's Coach Cliff Collins, who is the new head football coach here on campus. First, Coach Collins, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Benji.
Secondly, the last time we talked, you said you had some gentlemen working behind the scenes, but now those gentlemen are kind of working in front of the scenes. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is how's the staff coming? Is it complete yet?
No, it's not complete. We do have an offensive defensive coordinator. We have one more piece as an offensive line coach we're going to add to this staff. The offensive line coach will be officially here in July. And so that will make it a complete. But the offensive coordinator is Cortland Hayes. He worked with me at East for 2 years. We won back-to-back national championships as a football ops guy and a running backs coach. He was at North Alabama when they had a run of championships there. Also, he coached at his previous coaching stop was at Samford University, where he worked with the offensive line over in Birmingham. But he's my offensive coordinator, and then defensive coordinator is Nestor Portis. Nestor was my assistant linebacker coach at East Mississippi. Spent 3 seasons with me there before coming to East. He was at FIU as a graduate assistant where he worked with the defensive backs. So those are the 2 new guys that we have on staff right now.
And I've heard this said before, the head coach is an important hire, but who he hires as the offensive and defensive coordinators is probably more important because those are the guys that really get in the trenches with the kids, right?
Yes, both of those guys have junior college experience. They have championship experience. They're young guys who are very good with computers. They know how to break down a game plan, put a game plan together. That's what I need with me. I need guys that's actually smarter than me on those computers and putting those game plans together. And both of those guys played a big part in the back-to-back national championships that we had in 17, 18 at East Mississippi. So their work was not as popular as mine at the time because I was a defensive coordinator. So they was the guys under me that was providing me with the things that I need to be successful week in, week out.
Well, Coach, now that we've talked about your staff, let's talk about something else that's happened since the last time we talked to you. And that is you have signed a bunch of gentlemen to play football here at Southwest. How's that going as far as your numbers go?
It's going good. We signed 31 guys. We got another 5 guys that's committed to coming to join the Bear football team in July. It's going good. Right now we're collecting, making sure the guys are working out. All of them got workout books and workout manuals for us. Now we're just making sure they stay on top of their academics, grades, finish high school the right way. We're collecting information, transcripts, ACT scores. When we get those guys registered for classes here at Southwest and get them on campus July the 6th.
I was going to ask you, that was going to be the next question. This past season, everybody kind of had to delay. Hopefully next season we don't look at the delays. Is your plan to bring them for that second semester of summer break?
Yes, all our guys there, we enroll them in a full-time term, which will be online full term, and then they'll report July the 6th. Classes start July the 7th, so we plan on having all 80 guys here. We're going to cap that number around 80 that we're going to bring in. That way we can start focusing on the fall and getting ready to go.
Since we're talking about getting to the fall, one of the things that I was looking at the other day is, as I caught a glimpse of your football schedule, and we don't talk about team per se, but let's just say the MACC welcomed Cliff Collins to Southwest, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
With that schedule, a lot of big names on that schedule, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of big names.
Not that there's not a big name in the MAC, but
yeah, and we're in the South Division, which is the toughest division in the Junior College League, no doubt about it. But we're going to play some North teams that are up there that's pretty good. You know, in order for us to get a name, I welcome that challenge to all those teams that we're gonna play. You know, we can't make a name for ourselves until we beat a team that's up on the top of the ladder.
you talk about being a team that's on top of the ladder. Southwest football has been down the last couple of years. You bring in some new guys, you bring in some new coaches. How do you change the perception of Southwest football?
That's been changing over the past months with the early morning workouts, with the grind, everything we're doing. We're just working. We work 5 days a week. We finish the week off with a 5:30 a.m. workout, whether it's outside, whether it's inside. But, you know, we got one more Friday morning to go. Last Friday morning was a grind. You know, we did some old school stuff, in there. And, you know, we're going to finish off this week with a 5:30 a.m. workout. And then next week we'll start, we'll be out on the field doing some stuff, getting ready for spring ball.
I was going to be the next question. When does spring training start? Kind of what do you have your eye on for doing with the guys then?
We're going to officially start April the 6th. We're going to go 3 weeks. We're going to get 12 practices in. We'll go the first week with us being out for Easter that Monday. We'll start on that Tuesday. So we'll go Monday through Friday that first week, and then it'll be Monday through Thursday with a makeup day on Fridays if we have to. But we're shooting for 12 practices right now. I want to give all these guys that's here a fair shot, see what they can do as far as on the football field that can help this Bears football team in the fall.
And I know that's something else I think you and I have talked about in the past is you've signed these players, you got the ones that are still here, but as of right now, there is no quarterback, there is no running back. Everything's wide open for Southwest, isn't it?
Yes, everything's wide open. We got some guys here that can really play that I've seen here in the last month that's doing some good things for us, that's going to help us, that's going to impact this team. Tell these sophomores, they the ones that's got to be leaders. You know, all the guys that, you know, some of these guys are 3 years removed from high school, so they can come in and they're going to be 3 years older than any freshman that come in and beat those guys out, you know, that's going to be on them. But the sophomores, we definitely have some leaders on this football team. We definitely have some guys that can help us in the fall. But you know, we just got to keep working, and they got to bring they seeing how I want it done now. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's coming together pretty good. You know, I'm very pleased with where we at right now.
We talked about the sophomore class compared to the freshman class. There is a difference between high school football and community college football. There's a pretty big difference.
Yes.
So how do you get those freshmen ready for the sophomores? They know what they're fixing to get into. How do you get those freshmen ready?
We get the freshmen ready. That's why the summer is so important for me. You know, I like to go both summer terms, but you know, I want to let everything kind of die down with the COVID stuff, mm-hmm. and hopefully by July we back to normal. And but the summer is real important. That's where we go to class. We get the freshmen familiar with the college setting. We get them familiar with practicing, learning the playbook, working out the way we want to. And so by time fall camp opens in August, they're not freshmen no more. And then by the time the first ball game roll around, now we got 2 months of experience with those freshmen. So we press for those guys to grow up real fast, and we put them through it'll be a tough training camp for those guys. It's going to be some adjustments for those guys, but most of the guys we signed are two-sport athletes. They are doing another sport right now, so they're staying active. I'm big on two-sport athletes, so they're running track, playing baseball, playing soccer, doing some different things right now. So all our guys are pretty much getting work right now.
Kind of shifting gears from the players coming in, the second part of your job, and we talked about this with Coach Ken Jackson with his baseball team, the second part of the job is that the players that want to continue playing football past Southwest is getting them ready for the D1 program. And also it's your job to recruit on this side, but also help these kids get out on that side. So how's that juggling going?
It's going pretty good. We actually had, I know Taiwan Jones was a guy who played last year. He's going to school out in Texas. A couple kids have came to me with advice. Coach, what should I do? Am I going to make this team? I say, you got to do what's best for you right now. As far as your education standpoint, if the school going to offer you a scholarship, it's all about getting that education paid for, and furthering that education. And so I give them advice like that. I'm never, bad as I want to win a football game, if a player got an option to go, if he got a option to go on and play somewhere else and be at that school for 3 years, go ahead. That's whatever's going to help them the most. That's what I'm all for.
We talked about it with Coach Ken Jackson, even though you may not be winning the game per se, if a kid's got a 3.23 average, school might want him. Well, if you've got a guy that helped you win 5 or 6 games, you want him back next year, but that D1 program may want him as well. So it's kind of that fine line in football, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that fine line. And I tell them all the time, I'm going to do, when I recruit all my players, I tell them I'm going to do what's best for you. Not the program is going to be fine, but I'm going to do what's best for you. And if I do what's best for you, now you're going to do what's best for the program.
Well, Coach, you got some coaches that are officially in. You got your players in. It's been several months now. How are you adapting to head coach Collins rather than coordinator Collins?
A lot of phone calls. The phone calls are it's good and bad. You got to answer the phone because it's going to be people on the other end that definitely can help you. But just managing that, making sure everything's intact, getting some things organized and everything. We got a couple events coming up here as far as fundraising events. So just getting that stuff together, and it's been going pretty good.
All those things that you used to see other guys do, you're now being the guy having to do them, right?
Yeah, I had a little bit of experience of that, but not as much. So you got a few grades you got to get in the varsity sports, and then you got to make sure everything's right, and seeing what you got in this budget and that budget, and making sure you got the things you need as air pumps and all that stuff. You got the right amount of helmets. They're like you order them, and it's a bunch of stuff like that. But it's just being organized and making sure you got the things you need.
So is the office yours now? Do you feel like the office is yours now? Have you made it your own now?
I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. The office is coming along pretty good, step by step. I think I spend more time in my assistant coach's office than I do mine. So
you might need to make their office sure.
Yeah, and so Coach Hayes, he's got the bigger office so we staff meet in there, and I just walk in. And I know sometimes you're like, why don't you go to your own office, So, but other than that, it's going pretty good with it. We making adjustments, and so it's going pretty good.
Well, Coach Collins, we're definitely glad to have you as the new leader of our Bear football program. These new guys you talked about, quality people. It's all about quality people. Quality people lead to quality players, which leads to quality amongst the program, and that's what we are so happy to have you here. And, of course, with your roots in Emmett County and your family here as well, I know it's a welcome trip back to Southwest Mississippi for you as well.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Like I say, I'm glad to be here. I'm up for the challenge. I want to see Southwest back on top. I get a lot of calls from former teammates and former players who stopped through. Last Friday, one guy I played with, Carlos Thompson, stopped in, Me and him played on that championship team together. He was back in town with showing his daughter around and, and everything. He stopped through and talked to the guys, So we have had a couple guys from the NFL drop by that have played here, So I welcome all those guys, former athletes, former past players who have been here. Come back. We want you back here. We want you to see what we're doing here on campus. Any of those guys probably can talk to our guys. All it takes is one guy to listen to somebody, and we done changed. We done made a difference in that one guy's life.
Most definitely open door policy to the former athletes, right?
No doubt. Yes.
Well, Coach Collins, thanks so much for joining us. Boy, we talk about fall being kind of far off, but it's really not that far off as we sit here at the end of March. We'll blink, summer will be here, and before you know it, we'll be turning the lights on over at John I. Hurst Stadium, Monroe McKelvin Field, and getting ready for football 2021. And we're so glad again that you will be the head man of the Bears when we get ready to play next fall. Thanks so much for your time. We'll catch up with you again probably in the fall as we get ready for the real deal here, Coach.
Thanks, Benji.
Thank you. That'll do it for another edition of Inside Bear Athletics. Our thanks to Coach Ken Jackson, the head baseball coach, and of course to Coach Cliff Collins, the head football coach here on the Southwest campus. Next week, we'll be back 6 o'clock with another edition of Inside Bear Athletics right here on Bear TV.
Thanks for joining us for Inside Bear Athletics. To keep up with all current game stats, scores, and events, join us at www.southwestbearathletics.com.